Welcome back. Yep, we're kicking it right through hour two here on a terrific Tuesday edition of Liquid Lunch. I am having a liquid lunch today, despite the tyrannical emperor and ruler here in New York saying that we can't eat and drink inside. But I am pretty much by myself, but I'm eating and drinking at Max Public House, the center of the university. Yeah, that's John Bachman, the guy behind me, who is one of the good guys on Newsmax TV. And that's Trish Regan on talking about. And she's one of the good ones too. I'll tell you that. So, all right, on the national level, we got to stop the steal. I know I've been getting off track because they're trying to steal my friend's business here in Staten Island, New York. But at the same time, we got to stop the steal. Okay, and by stop the steal, we need every little bit of help we can get. So we got Raffensperger and Governor Kemp in Georgia were playing a lot of games. They don't want to call the Senate and the Assembly back into session there because they're afraid that they'll throw out the election and they'll give the electors to Donald Trump. And if Georgia goes sideways and we win Pennsylvania, no one gets to 270. And if no one gets to 270 per the Constitution, it gets kicked down to the House of Representatives, and people think, oh no, not the House of Representatives. Nancy Pelosi's in charge there. Not so fast, because if it goes to the House of Representatives, the way the original framers of the Constitution was so brilliant, thank God. Um, what happens is for each state, they take their total number of Congress people for the state, they add them up on both sides. Whoever has more Congress people gets the one vote for that state. So although there are 12 more Democratic Congress people, so they tend to be in the majority on the gross number, when you go into the states and start looking, well, how many Democrats, how many Republicans? Um, the Republicans would have the majority in 26 states. The Democrats would have it in 23 states. And I think there's one like Nebraska or something that's a tie because they have some the two districts, so they would eat. There's only two people, and if they each go the other way, it's a tie, and they can't split something like that. The bottom line is, no matter how you kick it, if Georgia, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Arizona, any combination of two of them, this goes to the House, and Republicans win unless some people go bad. Now, Texas is in on the act now. The state of Texas, we've had James Dickey, Republican Party state chair, on this show many times. He told us from way back when that Donald Trump was going to win Texas, although the media kept telling us that it was going to go blue this year. James Dickey told me, John, they're not going to play around with this state, that's for sure. And we didn't. Trump won going away. And now the state of Texas actually filed a lawsuit yesterday suing Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, and saying that they don't want their electors joining the Texas electors at the Electoral College because they don't believe that they were fair elections, which is kind of genius. It almost sounds like somebody down there in Texas has a similar mind to mine. Like, hey, if they can't stop us from broadcasting, let's broadcast in the bar. Then we can open the bar. These guys are up to good in Texas. And, I like Texas. I got some friends down there. My buddy Drew, you guys all know him. He's been on the show many times. They call him the crypto cowboy. He's down there. And all my exes live in Texas also. Now, they don't. So I have plenty of them. There are calls now in Arizona where the legislature has moved to certify the election. The governor's moved to certify election. Arizona lawmakers are calling for a full hand audit of Maricopa County. So if you think about it, Maricopa County is one of the largest counties in all of Arizona. And that was the last one to be counted. And every time they counted a few more. And then the people said, oh, they gave us Sharpies. And the State Department said Sharpies don't work. So they probably threw out a lot of those ballots. We found out from my buddy Patrick Byrne who's got this, cyber team working, trying to figure out where all the inaccuracies are in the text. And he told me that um, there's this adjudication function where if the ballot doesn't process properly, someone gets to look at it and say, "Oh, I don't know,
3
let's put that
minutes.
in a holding area," and they call that an adjudication file. And then some supervisor can come along later on and say, "Well, why are there 11,000 votes in the adjudication file?" "Well, they weren't running right through the machine here, boss. We didn't know what to do with them." "Ah, nah, you're crazy. Just give them all to Joe Biden." And there's overwhelming proof that that was happening in at least 5 states. They're looking at Virginia now, which would be another weird one. Um, but the bottom line is, my buddy Bobby Schatz, who is the official Liquid Lunch photographer, uh, he told me about his Uncle Dan, who lives in Maricopa County. And just the day before the election, Uncle Dan gave me the information that Maricopa County was like 80% for Trump and 20% for Biden. And I've been sticking to that, saying, no way Uncle Dan
2
lied.
minutes.
No way Uncle Dan misread it. And it seems like even now, right up to the last minute, they're still focusing in on Maricopa County. So I'm still rooting for Uncle Dan because he told me categorically that Trump's going to win Maricopa County. And as we dwindle down to the end here, we find out that they actually did a test in Arizona in Maricopa County. And they said, let's take 100 ballots and do a test. These are 100 ballots that were counted as good already. Okay? Let's run 100,000 ballots through the 100 ballots through the machine, see what happens. Do you know 11 ballots kicked out as invalid ballots? So 11% of the votes in a 100 vote sample showed
1 minute.
something's wrong and something stinks in Denmark. Something ain't right. And 100 votes that were already counted for either or. They said about 80% of the mail-in votes that came in Maricopa County went towards Biden. Okay, which is another weird thing. But the bottom line is this. There's something wrong in Maricopa County. And it looks pretty obvious that Trump and his team are zeroing in. I hope that legislature out there is a lot
30
more
seconds.
brave than the governor. Because the legislature, they can turn around and do the same thing and say, hey, we're not happy with the selection. We don't think it was done fairly. We don't think we have any confidence in it. And we want to
Wrap it up.
either do a re-election or empower the legislature to basically appoint the electors there also. So even though Rudy's up with COVID, and God bless the mayor, let's hope America's mayor is back in action soon. Yesterday we heard that Ted Cruz may actually represent the president if we have to go to the Supreme Court, so there's a lot popping. But the one thing you need to know is it ain't over till it's over. There's no fat lady singing anywhere as far as I can see. And Donald Trump is still pounding and pounding and pounding. I'm going to do the same right here. I'm at Max Public House in Staten Island. We'll be pounding a few beers as we build our new studio here, the Liquid Lunch Studios at Speakeasy Studios at Max Pub in Staten Island. Fighting for the little man. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.